200,000 in 30 days, I don't have to make a make good second ad, which will be the exact same as my first ad. And I hate putting ads in my videos because why would I want to sell my audience anything when I can really truly be my authentic self?
But holy shit! Wait, like, have you disclosed this to Taylor Enns?
That I that I put ads in my video?
No, yeah, that you fucking getting money for political content.
I haven't. She's going to make the takedown pretty soon. Actually, it's going to be the soy pill is not able to sustain himself solely on YouTube ad revenue and required Surfshark and Ground News ads.
We haven't really ventured into that relationship, by the way, you and Taylor, because like you just kind of dropped it. You're like, yeah. I'm cool with
so I did. JREG got me to be able to talk to her because I was like, I didn't like her video. Someone should do it. I thought it was poorly worded. I confronted her. We bantered, and now we text sometimes. And yeah, I don't know. She's like, she's got her tendrils in all the influencers. She's got connections.
Tendrils.
So.
Are you describing her like an eldritch horror or something? Like she's Cthulhu?
Yeah.
You know
Have
that one Futurama, the movie where there's the beast with 1,000 backs and it's like got its tentacles in literally everyone? She does that to all the influencers, so she knows every influencer.
I've seen a lot of movies.
What
the movie?
Is that the Slurm alien? The Slurm?
No, you guys, you simpletons. No, it's like it's the one where they even have like a third pronoun for it. You guys don't know anything. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm actually convinced you're making shit up. I don't know. By the way, what is this giant like?
This is called a green screen. If I was someone who was technologically savvy, I could set up my virtual camera so that you could see my stupid background. But instead, you just don't get to see my dorm and make fun of me. You just get to make fun of my big peacock.
Is it like Velcro to your ass or something? Why is
no,
it like...
it's actually strapped to my chair. It's pretty jank.
Speaking of backgrounds, who's that black guy behind you, IRI?
Oh!
Yo, where'd you get that cutout, bro?
I've had that for a minute. I'm in my new place. I haven't had a chance to put up the new signs, so I just put out my Obama card cutout. Yeah.
That's awesome.
What was the stripper pole in the back corner?
Well, congrats.
The camera was swinging around. I don't understand.
Thank you.
What was that? What was the stripper pole down there? I've not seen that. Where are you?
That's coming.
Yeah, it's like watching Jennifer Lopez in Hustler. That's the vibe I get from you.
I never seen that movie.
It's an amazing movie.
Are you a J-Lo fan?
I do love J-Lo. On my workout mix, I've got Jenny from the Block. That's a classic. I'm not kidding.
Wow,
that's a classic.
really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got TLC's No Scrubs. It's like a mix. It's a hodgepodge of like 90s and 80s music. I make no apologies.
Do you remember when
it.
when J-Lo and Shakira both like turned around at the Super Bowl and there was like and the internet went crazy?
I don't remember. I watched it on mute. I can't. I barely remember that Super Bowl halftime show in all seriousness. I really don't. But they are in crazy shape for people who are like 65 years old. Like it's
they are not
really
65, dude.
J-Lo is in her 50s.
That's not 65.
I was educated in Kentucky.
You're doing it wrong.
Numbers are all the same.
Close enough.
Oh,
do you know Shakira is part of Mensa? That she has like a 160 IQ or something like that?
I did know that. Staggering. She speaks like 5 languages too.
It's amazing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All I know is Left Shark was the best shark.
I don't know what that is. So welcome to another weekly episode of Live and Learn. You know, for years we did not do any sort of intro. Soy Pill pioneered, I believe it's called a formal introduction. So we've got Josiah here from Pondering Politics. We've got Pisco here, who's the second best attorney in the Twitch poll space. We have I'm Really Important, and he is very important. You can see the 44th president of the United States right behind him, just hanging out there. You have Hutch, who is famous for avoiding video games fastidiously. He's never been near a video game, doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Very far left. Very far left. We're trying to like coax him back from the black pill left. He's our project. And then we have the soy pill, who survived a public debate in the post-Kirk world. Congratulations, because I really was worried about you.
Oh, I do have a question, though. Does Live and Learn have an HR department?
I am the HR department right here.
Okay, so I'd like to make a public complaint. So I shared the clip with Hutch, and he spent about 20 minutes talking about how great my ass was. He barely talked about the content of the policy.
That's HR.
Pull it up. Pull it up.
Pull that shit up.
Wait, pull up the clip or the ass?
Pull up the accusatory clip
so you can see the ass.
You're wanting him to like pull out a birthday.
Imagine going to HR with a sexual harassment complaint,
like,
and they're like, "Well, hold on. How good did your ass look?" I mean, let's be clear.
I remember it was crazy.
Fat ass, bro. It is like, and I say that not like fat, bad fat, but like
it's PHAT.
I do have a big ass.
It's a crazy ass, bro. It's like Captain America and Endgame.
Fat ass. Look at that booty.
There's way too much bisexual erasure these days.
What's funny is when I remember when that clip went live, Hutch texted me. He said, "Dude, you could bounce a quarter off that and get 2 dimes and a nickel." It was incredible.
Pull it up. I'm serious. Pull it up on the screen. Show the.
I think
show
now
the
we're
chat.
all like partially responsible for this HR complaint.
Wait, what is it? In all seriousness, what is this clip? I have not seen this.
He's confronting another streamer, and but
he juices.
All I could focus on was his fucking ass, man. It was crazy.
Wait, was this the Destiny live stream?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just listening to it. I didn't see it. I missed out. I only got you were a half power there.
It's like the last like 20 minutes.
We're not going to watch 20 minutes just for you to see his ass.
No, I'm not
again.
saying just
for 20 minutes.
Whatever.
No, I would love to see it. I mean,
I'm sending you a screenshot of my ass. Apparently,
I didn't notice his ass, but it was a very flattering shot for like your upper body.
Was he in baby oil? I bet he was, wasn't he? Like he was shirtless the entire time.
Can you imagine if I was a woman? What would be happening right now? The amount of shit you guys would get.
True.
Exactly. I could be one. You don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was a podcast of women and we were like complimenting you on your ass, I feel like that happens probably every fucking podcast.
How is the show getting gayer when we lost the guy with the LGBT
Just
flag?
look at the picture and you'll see what I mean. Like you'll know what I'm talking about.
He's got the picture.
You can send me the clip. I don't. Nobody's sending it to me.
I sent you a screenshot in the Discord DM.
In the Discord? Oh Jesus.
Okay. Oh God, the thing we use all to communicate. God.
Well, how am I supposed to pull that up without like showing people our Discord?
Just open the screenshot and screenshot it again, and then open it in Paint, and then screenshot.
Oh my God, bro! Like, bro, here's a 67 fucking step process to see in my ass.
Yeah, you're right. I should just start an OnlyFans, make it a paid 1-step process, right?
You would make so much money. Like you would make so much fucking money.
All of my DMs, Hutch. You have no idea. You have no idea what my DMs look like right now.
Do you get unsolicited dick pics?
Yes, unfortunately.
Wow.
I wish I liked.
Can't relate.
Wieners.
It's happening. Hang on 1 second.
We're actually doing this.
Let's see.
Soy Pill. How did? Oh.
Bro, just like look at that. It's not even a profile. You know what I mean?
That guy,
you can still see it sticking out. Like
listen,
it's crazy.
This guy right here is gossiping about it right now. He's like, "Do you see that? Look at that. That guy's. It's not even a cake. It's a whole bakery."
How much you squat, Soy Pill?
I do like 5 reps, 350 or something. I don't know.
That is respectable.
All right.
Thank you, Pisco. Pisco just gave it his stamp of approval. I don't know why.
What are we doing here?
Tracing you right now. I have no idea.
What are you doing? What is this?
This is like some serial killer shit.
I feel like Kate Winslet in Titanic, except I'm not into it.
You got an ass that would make a toilet beg for the brown.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
IRI is going to leave this show. He's done with this. He's like, instead of I'm really important, I'm really.
We're really not breaking the lib stereotype, guys.
Yeah.
This is
So listen, a lot going on. Round of applause for Jimmy Kimmel, who's being restored to full power. Yes.
Free Jimmy. He has returned.
It's too late. We already made 10 million Jimmy Kimmels. We're fighting back.
Oh,
yeah.
true.
Well, let's talk about this. If I don't die in the process, I'm succumbing to consumption. So, are we surprised that, number one, by this decision, and number two, by how quickly this decision came to be? Because it's less than a week.
I'm not surprised by the decision, but I think I am surprised at how quickly it happened. Did anybody think he was going to be permanently gone? Probably nobody.
I'll be honest with you, I was.
No,
I thought he was. Yeah,
I thought it was gone.
No. There were articles that said the day of that ABC was already talking about bringing him back in the future.
It's just such a disgusting abuse of power that's even occurred in the first place. And it doesn't, I want to be clear about something, it doesn't erase the threat and use of government coercion against ABC and their affiliates as a result. So I'm not going to let up in terms of the assault on the First Amendment that the administration has launched, but it is good news that we've freed Jimmy from his eternal torment and that he has returned.
Was there any comment yet from like Nexstar or Sinclair? Because when I looked at I waited like an hour because I was hoping for like some additional context before I did like a breaking video about it. But at the time of recording, Sinclair and Nexstar had not weighed in at all.
They're run by I mean, at least Sinclair, right? Like crazy conservative type people.
Sinclair.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
They were feeling real confident too, demanding an apology and a sizable donation.
Hell no.
And ABC's like, fuck you.
Not just a sizable donation. Remember, they demanded you have to apologize to Erica Kirk. You have to make a meaningful personal donation to the Kirk family. And then the real slap in the face was you have to make a meaningful personal donation to TPUSA. Which I saw, I saw it on Twitter. I said somebody said that would be like making Sean Hannity donate to Planned Parenthood. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's stunning. And
we shouldn't forget all the commentators who were like kind of nonplussed about it, or even, for example, one example, not any reason that I'm bringing her up, but Anna Kasparian, for basically making an excuse for this kind of overreach and government intrusion. I think it's despicable, and those demands were absolutely out of left field. And I think, it's fucking despicable. Under no circumstances should you apologize for that.
I did not see her actual clip. What did she say? What was her? How did she back it up?
You know what? I'm curious if I can find it real quick. If I can,
she was like a Cenk, right?
Yes.
So Cenk was like saying this is bad. This is like government, like whatever. Like he was saying this is really bad and is really indicative. To his credit, Cenk was coming out and saying it was bad. And Anna comes in and was like, you know what? I think I disagree with you, Cenk. So disagreeing with his characterization that basically this was overreached by the government, and she was basically going on and on about how horrible the statement was, how horrific it was, that Kimmel would speak out of turn, say a true statement. He in fact did say a true statement, speak out of turn without information, which is like so funny because that's exactly what he was calling out of MAGA and the right wing and of Trump himself, right? Trump was, before we had full information, calling this left wing, saying it's all the left wing's fault. So absolutely, I think that was a despicable statement from Anna Kasparian. We shouldn't forget it. We shouldn't let her forget it.
Well, I've got it. Oh. Go ahead, though. I've got to tee it up.
I'll play it. Go ahead.
Hang on. Where is it? Okay, here we go. Ready?
Yep.
It's not. No, it's not. That's a reporter doing his job. That's part of the First Amendment, freedom of speech, and freedom of the press. And Trump doesn't understand that. And so now taking out people who make fun of a politician to serve that up on a silver platter to Trump, no way. Disgusting.
I think I disagree with you.
Pause.
Like the more I sit with what he said.
So you just heard Cenk condemn the government authoritarianism, condemn what happened, and Anna says, in no uncertain terms, I think I disagree with you. There's no other way to interpret that at all.
Wait, do you think that maybe Jimmy Kimmel made like a joke about her in the past, and that might inform her politics?
No. Maybe. Who knows? Who the hell knows?
Hey, before we play the rest of this, we're gonna play some of the rest of this. But also, speaking of Anna Kasparian, I saw a clip go live, something today, and I'm trying to think who posted it. But apparently, Jillian Michaels stormed off the set of her take or something like that.
Oh no! Yeah. Someone tell Aaron.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
And the more I think about it, look, guys, I mean, you have to consider, even if you loathe Charlie Kirk, put your shoes in the shoes of conservatives.
What the
fuck? Your shoes in the shoes? What the fuck? Maybe she means like soul support, like the little inserts.
Put your shoes in, and actually no. Actually, no, we don't have to put our shoes in the shoes of MAGA. Why should we have to? Why should we? And what is that? How does that relate to the government's trespass here? Like the fact that the government,
it's called empathy.
Yeah, so we should, because their fifis are hurt and their feelings are hurt because of this coward shooter, we need to be like, okay, well, think about how they feel, because the fact that MAGA feels really bad about it, we should like be okay with government authoritarianism.
I mean, I was just playing.
So. Well, listen, as far as this gaffe
that's
goes,
a question.
As far as this gaffe goes about the shoes in the shoes, perhaps it is her sole gaffe of the night.
One of their, top influencers, someone who had a tremendous amount of clout on the right wing, he gets assassinated. And so to make a declarative statement and pin the blame on the very people who are grieving the loss of Charlie Kirk before you have any evidence.
You didn't do that.
Yeah, it's offensive. It's irresponsible. I get that he's a comic, So I guess we should hold him to a lower standard, I guess.
Pause.
But my problem
imagine
with
that that were the standard. If that were the fucking standard, every single Fox commentator, everyone in the right-wing media should have been taken off the air immediately after.
President?
The president himself. I mean,
That
if that's the
guy.
standard. Speaking on an issue without even assuming that he made a declarative statement, which is false. I mean, if you just quote the actual written words, at best there's an implication or a hint that he suspects, but that's at best, that's just an implication. That's not what he actually said, and I don't even think it's clear from the context of the broader joke he was making wasn't about like he knew for a fact that it was MAGA people.
Yeah, and listen, we won't spend the rest of the time on this because I mean she has since like kind of walked it back, and Cenk kind of read her the riot act and that. And this is 4 days old, but yeah, her initial response was to go.
But it shows she didn't even know what he said, because all he said was MAGA was trying to distance themselves from this guy, and it was on Monday a week ago, the day before the evidence was entered into court. So it was still a valid opinion. So she doesn't even have an understanding of what Jimmy Kimmel said.
The whole right wing right now, it's a combination of like blatantly bad faith, but also just way too hyper vigilant. So Gavin Newsom had that tweet where he said that Kristi Noem was going to have a really bad day, and then a U.S. attorney, I think, for serving for the
I've
administration.
referred this to the FBI.
Yeah, it was crazy, but yeah.
Did you hear Kristi Noem? Apparently, I saw this in a tweet, so not confirmed. But some people are talking. The streets are saying, you know what the streets are saying? Kristi Noem is in this kind of like affair with Corey Lewandowski. That's what the streets are saying.
Oh yeah,
that's an old rumor.
Oh
yeah.
shit! All right.
Oh,
all right.
years.
All right. Fuck.
Yeah,
Dude, that guy is fucking nuts. Like if there was any doubt that the Trump administration was going to be unhinged in its second term, like that shit went out the window the moment they brought Lewandowski back into the campaign. It's like, and they were putting him in front of cameras. It's like, you're not even trying to hide this asshole.
He's literally Ben Shapiro's origin story, because he was a Breitbart reporter back in 2015 or 16. I can't remember when it happened. And there was another Breitbart reporter who was trying to ask Trump a question in person, and Corey Lewandowski like grabbed her arm and pulled her back.
Oh yeah.
And I think he was charged for like misdemeanor battery, and it might have been dismissed. But Ben Shapiro at the time, he quit Breitbart because I guess, did they not have that one reporter's back? I'm not sure what the deal was, but
they didn't have her back or something like that, and he took a stand on principle. And imagining Ben Shapiro doing that nowadays is
Ben who?
Yeah, Ben.
Well, he was a never Trump Republican back then.
Yeah,
He smacked some girl's ass. I don't think he grabbed her arm. He like slapped her ass at some event, and she was like some American Idol, the girl who wore the MAGA dress to some awards. I don't remember her name, but I'm pretty sure he just smacked her ass in public.
These commentators, they're not even pretending that they have double standards anymore. I'm going to name a bunch of figures who have said they're openly double standards. Megyn Kelly, openly double standards, have said basically, we don't give a shit.
We are going to go through.
Let me do my list.
I know, but just listen. We have to go through that post when you're done with that list. That is the most unhinged fucking public statement from Megyn Kelly ever, and that's saying something. She thought Santa Claus was or what'd she say? She had an issue with black Santa, and she thought Jesus was white or something like that. I can't remember.
Oh, she was mad about that. Yeah. So
go ahead.
Megyn Kelly saying, I don't care if Tom Homan was taking bribes, outright saying they have no standards. Fucking Ann Coulter said the same thing.
Did she say that, or did she say that she doesn't trust, left wing or Biden's DOJ?
She said all of that, and then she concluded. Like we're gonna go through the post, but just go ahead with your list.
Yeah, this is what I think. Like if they do some kind of try to clean up the statement afterwards, I'm not gonna give them credit for that. If they do some kind of self-serving statement that we don't believe anything that comes out of the DOJ ever, no matter what. Megyn Kelly, Ann Coulter saying we're good with corruption, and Gavin McInnes comes out and says, yes, we're hypocrites. Yes, why are you being like Dave Poynton and pretending you care about First Amendment? We are hypocrites and you deserve it. And friend of the show, Rob Noor, in my latest video, you can see the clip where he plays Gavin McInnes and says, I am not going to live up to my standard anymore. The only standard I have now is no advocacy of private violence, personal violence. But other than that, I am a hypocrite and we are not going to hold ourselves to any standard. And he endorsed what Gavin McInnes, the founder of the Proud Boys, said. And so everyone is coming out, both in their conducts and sometimes in explicit words, saying, we have no principles. We don't give a shit. And you should believe them. These are scumbags. They
don't seem to fully appreciate the difference between what they might call like cancel culture and, full on institutional pressure from the federal government. I mean, there's an enormous difference between these two things. The other big whataboutism they're doing is comparing it to people that were banned on Twitter for COVID misinformation and election denialism or whatever. But I mean, there's a couple things to unpack there. Number one, the bulk of that came from the Trump administration, who was issuing takedown requests to these social media companies. Twitter at the time, I think, was rejecting, 50%. So obviously they didn't feel like they didn't have a choice. Facebook, I think Mark Zuckerberg kind of retconned the situation and said that he felt forced to take down all those posts. But what was the other angle of this?
He's just trying, Zuckerberg and all these people, they're scumbags too. They're just trying to ingratiate themselves with the new administration by saying things where there's no evidence of government pressure whatsoever. And similar things, by the way, with these other social media organizations. Bezos comes out and stops cartoons critical of Trump. So all of these tech corporations, right, they don't give a fuck about you. They care about their mergers and their bottom lines. And arguably, the reason our first topic was ABC and Jimmy Kimmel. Arguably, the reason why Disney ABC decided to bring Kimmel back was because of a financial reason. Who knows? I'm not saying I know that as a fact, but that's at least there's some evidence to suggest that they were seeing some bad numbers on their spreadsheets.
So let's take a look at this. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Cancellations of Hulu? What is it?
Yeah.
Or
The Disney
cancellations,
Plus,
yeah.
Hulu, everyone's canceling subscriptions, and I really think they reached out to like the normie libs and realized, oh shit, this is millions of people that care. They're there to fight for Jimmy Fallon, as crazy as that is.
Jimmy Kimmel, asshole.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Okay?
You forget the Jimmys.
Get it
Fallon's next.
Tim Pool had a take. Seth Dillon from the Babylon Bee said, "I've been disappointed to see how many have been willing to abandon free speech, and not reluctantly but eagerly." And Tim Pool responds with, "What would the left have to do or collectively support for you to opt out to not defend them?" Serious question. At what point do you say, "I won't help my enemies"? Which is just basically like very not so subtly saying that he doesn't think that his enemies deserve rights if they're in power. It's pretty
He's been upfront about that. Every time I go on there, I ask, do you care if it's illegal? It's like, no, we're in a war. And so it's about my moral framework against your moral framework. And I don't care if the Trump deployment's illegal. I don't care if Mahmoud Khalil's deportation is illegal. I don't care if we're, going after Kilmar Abrego Garcia without due process. He's said openly, it's a civilizational war, and I don't care about following the rule of law or the Constitution.
Well, and on that note, Megyn Kelly, go ahead, IRI.
I was going to say, in all fairness, Tim Pool is still a centrist. He just happens to disagree with the left on every single thing for the last 5 years. Okay, but eventually he'll side with us on something.
I'm not sure the last time he called himself a centrist.
It's been a few years.
He still calls himself a liberal, actually.
Oh, does he really?
Okay.
Yeah, I had a whole
insane.
2-hour back and forth with him about it.
So we mentioned Megyn Kelly, and to me, this crash out is worse than Tim Pool because he's been doing it for some time. So this is in response to the MSNBC bombshell article that Border Czar Tom Homan allegedly accepted $50,000 in cash in what looks
in cash bills.
Yeah,
in
literally
a fast
like
food
a
bag.
Movie in a paper bag, like on a bench, essentially.
And it
like
was
on tape.
on tape. Okay.
So here's the question. So how likely is it that MSNBC has the video? Because like this is kind of a significant scoop from the FBI, right? So
it's audio only. There's no video.
Oh,
There's
I was
no
told
video?
it was, are you sure?
Only audio, from what I read.
Someone said they had him on video.
I read in the original article it was on video.
That was the initial reporting for sure.
Maybe
maybe they changed it.
It's possible they've updated it after the fact. But in response to this, Megyn Kelly goes, "We do not care. Don't bother at Real Tom Homan. He's a national treasure." To which Tim Miller of the Bulwark responded, "You don't care that government officials are taking cash bribes?"
And then she wrote a fucking thesis.
Bro.
Then she replied with a fucking thesis.
"We don't trust you. We don't trust the work of your president's DOJ. We don't trust the work of your president's FBI. You indicted our presidential candidate 4 times with made-up BS charges.
All base charge. I mean, these are all amazing charges that are based in law and fact.
Trying to put him in jail for life. You changed laws so he could be civilly sued by a woman who didn't even remember what year her alleged rape by him was. You let an attorney general who ran for office promising to get Trump try to bankrupt him on a claim so specious, even the New York appellate court scoffed at it and had to reverse the damage award, but not the decision.
Not the fundamental liability.
I love that she's assigning responsibility to fucking Tim Miller of the Bulwark. Like he didn't do anything. Like we don't vote on who gets indicted for what. It just sort of happens.
Oh, and
there's also a huge fucking problem with this, which is if they were corruptly trying to frame Tom Homan for this thing, why didn't they release that information before the fucking election?
You know who made
They were
that
sitting
point?
on that for months. Why didn't they release it before the election? The
You know
other
who
thing
made
too
that
is like
point?
he indicted the Biden's DOJ indicted not just 2 or 3. It was like 8 sitting Democrats for various crimes.
Andy McCarthy, of all people, one of the editors of the National Review, he's one of Fox News' top legal analysts. He wrote an article in the National Review saying, yeah, this is sus. I mean, he's innocent till proven guilty, but the reporting on this is really bad. He actually called for Congress to investigate since the Trump administration won't. And Andy McCarthy and Megyn Kelly are actually quite close. They're both, former Fox News. Well, he's still at Fox
and McCarthy's
News.
unhinged.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy has written some unhinged things
Right.
about the Russia investigation, et cetera. So if even he's saying it, I mean, it's something to note.
So she goes on to say, one of yours killed Charlie, and then you laughed at our pain, protested our vigils, and said Charlie was to blame and rot in hell. You lied about the killer's motives and said he was MAGA when you knew he wasn't. You put us all in danger by not admitting the truth and then not relenting on the lies you told about us. You cried endless tears for Jimmy Kimmel, but none for Charlie. You gleefully canceled all of us for 5 years and danced when we suffered. You censored us and ruined
They all
careers.
sound like Batman villains, dude. They all
Bro,
sound like
they
fucking
really do.
Two-Face origin story.
Yeah, she's just like frothing at the mouth, and ruined careers of distinguished doctors and others who dared say the truth during COVID and George Floyd. You cost our children years of learning during lockdowns and endangered them with deadly myocarditis by burying
Trump
the
president
risk.
during that?
Oh my God. Yeah.
She's doing
But-
myocarditis shit in here.
Yeah, even though myocarditis, you're more likely to get it from actually getting COVID than the vaccine, but I digress. By burying the risk disclosures and never apologized or owned it, your government tried to strong-arm Fox into firing Tucker because of his J6 coverage, and you said not a peep about the First Amendment. And again, I don't recall that at all. I know he was fired after the Dominion settlement.
when he lied and cost the Fox News tens of not hundreds of millions of dollars, they fired him, and you didn't say anything about the fact that he made one of the most blatant election lies in the fucking
Yeah, it was
history of our
hundreds of
country.
millions of dollars of in the settlement. And by the way, IRA, to just loop it back on the point, the MSNBC reporting says hidden cameras recording the scene at a meeting spot in Texas.
I see
so
that.
that's-
The New York. I looked at the New York Times article that I read, and it said audio recording in the New York Times article.
Oh,
'Cause-
okay.
Yeah, so I think
Interesting.
I don't know what the true story is, but I'll go with the MSNBC article. Of course, they're the ones who broke the story, so it makes sense.
IRI, if it's the Trump admin, it's going to be like the most cartoonishly evil. Like, here, I have your bribes. Are you going to give me the contracts tomorrow? Yes, the illegal contracts are coming.
They're twirling a
Yeah, but-
mustache.
Yeah, I read a little further into it, and like even the Biden administration wasn't sure they could charge him because he didn't have an official position in the government. He was just
Right.
kind of like, I can help you, and they didn't know what to charge him with, really. But still, shady as hell.
Hang on a second. Super shady, and I actually think it criminal even without it because they weren't sure they could charge him with the substantive charge of bribery until he had that official position. But you can still ding him with a conspiracy to commit bribery because you just have a criminal meeting of the minds there. Like there's no bribery like free time, like this little window of time when you're allowed to, before taking office, get all your briberies in before you actually take office and before the conspiracy. And then there's
Nico, what
additional
if-
charges. Go ahead for it.
Well, what if he'd never got a position in administration? Would they still have been able to charge him?
It's still a it's a meeting of the minds, right? So the crime is the meeting
So it's
of
like
the
plotting
minds.
a murder.
Right. So like let's say that you and I plotted a murder. We took some substantial steps towards it, right? We took the money. We prepared our shit, and that's what an investigation would look into, right? The fact that he's accepting the money, he's either committing a fraud, right? Check his taxes. Did he report that income? So he would be committing a fraud on these FBI agents or whatever, or attempting to, or he is, doing enough substantial steps to have a conspiracy with respect to the substantive bribery charge. What they were waiting for to see, is he going to follow up so we can charge him with bribery as such once he takes office, and they shut that down. But there are other crimes also related to like corrupting public contracts where it explicitly says you don't need to have a government position in order to do that. Anyone who's attempting to do this commits a crime. And so, yes, there was a reason that they were waiting to charge because they were trying to charge on that substantive bribery and to see what he was going to do. But I don't think that we should take that no crime was committed. I believe strongly a crime was committed at the moment where he took the money, and we should check his taxes.
The
Well,
last
that's
thing I'll just
the thing
say
though,
on this
is
is
like-
where it ends with, we do not trust you. We only care about defeating you. And that is the really
Wow.
chilling part. Again,
Yeah, I've had
blank
this
check.
conversation with MAGA people a bunch of times now, where anytime I bring up some sort of like fascist thing that Trump is doing, all they do is point to some perceived slight or some disproportional thing like the COVID lockdowns and say, "Look, you fascist us. Now we get to do whatever we want." And they just have no clue about the proportionality or like the unilateral government decisions or like anything. It's all completely nope. Like everything's off the table. So they're finally admitting it, which is like great. I guess we can see it, but they don't care. They don't care about anything. So this is the I want a benevolent dictator thing. Like
Is
they're
that
there
what MAGA
already.
Adam said during his debate with you?
Adam barely talked. He was just kind of sitting there shit talking me in chat. Apparently, Sitch was the one talking the whole time, and he was just somehow kept diverting to woke. He has the woke mind virus, is what I said.
I saw a little bit about it. Was one of the most fucking pathetic displays from Sitch at the beginning, where he is not comfortable dealing with I think a pretty nice working definition that you provided of fascism there, and he basically is saying until you complete the action of destroying democracy and destroying my vote, only then am I willing to call it fascism, even though that belies one, like, why should we construe an attempt to do that less than the completed act? And also, this would never work if you look at historical cases. You would call the fascists before they took office.
That
you
was
would call
Anna
the Nazis
Kasparian's
fascists
position.
before you took office.
Do you remember that piece, Go? Anna Kasparian and Cenk had one of their biggest knockdown dragouts over whether or not the F word could be thrown at Trump. And her position basically was, well, he failed in his fascistic designs. Therefore, he can't be a fascist. And that would be like saying, not to invoke preparation H here, not to invoke Hitler, but it's like he was fascist even during and after the beer hall
when
push.
he wasn't in power. Yeah,
right,
exactly. And
he was a
and
fascist
same thing with
during the beer
communists,
hall
right?
push.
You would never say, would you, like, oh, this communist guy, he's not a communist because he hasn't destroyed democracy and instituted a Marxist-Leninist state. No one thinks this way. These are ideologies / behaviors that point towards an ideology that where a reasonable person could look at the course of conduct, the course of behavior, and attribute some sort of ideology or behavioral what it matches in terms of ideology. So I think that it's just such a clear case, and you were owning. I didn't watch the whole thing, Soy, but I thought you did really well there.
Well, thank you. Yeah, but it is ridiculous. I think that if I was going to change one thing, it would have been, look, I'm going to take the entire Hitler timeline, and you tell me at what point he becomes fascist.
Yes,
which thing can I point to? It's like, was it when he was, telling people to beat people up in the streets? Was it the Reichstag fire? Was it 1945? Does it have to be the last year? Like, it's ridiculous the standard they have, and they're too proud to admit they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about when it comes to it. But even admitted, I do think the election was one of the craziest, worst things ever. But I don't think that's valid, even if it was to, like you said, subvert the entire democratic process, which you admit is a part of fascism.
And you could just say that he failed, right? Because in the long term, Germany ended up having elections again. So in the long term, right, like Hitler failed because he wasn't able to put 1,000-year Reich. And so eventually Germany had elections. So how can you say that he was a fascist? It's just absurdity.
It's all coming back to me. Didn't we have a similar argument against actual justice warrior a couple of years ago about the Civil War?
Yeah, I watched the debate on that. Yeah.
Yeah, where it's
Is
like
he anti-democratic, right? Or something
right,
like that,
because eventually the union was made whole and there were elections against him, fucking idiot. And I just want to say here, my favorite part is when they kept appealing to, hey, what about that YouGov poll, which says like Gen Z Democrats, they're really lusting for violence. And did you drop that fucking nuke where 1/3 or 1/4 of Trump supporters say it's okay to use violence?
Well, Adam said, well, can we trust that? Can we trust that too?
He's such a fucking audience captured whore.
I loved it.
I think what is certainly the case is that MAGA feels very much emboldened right now. Like, I feel like they're piggybacking off of Kirk's assassination because put your shoes in their shoes just for a minute. Like, you've had to defend Donald Trump.
They have clown shoes, so they're really big.
You've had to defend Donald Trump for like the last few months of just really bizarre, inexplicable, inexcusable Epstein stuff. And you're dealing with a population where basically nobody likes these blanket tariffs. And so I think they saw this moment as an opportunity to sort of like change the narrative. But as they're doing it, they're pretty much showing their whole ass. I think they're massively overstepping. I think they're probably turning off a lot of people with this kind of rhetoric. And I think it will bite them in the ass.
Did you guys catch the rally, the funeral rally? I mean, I have to be honest with you guys. After the day of Charlie Kirk's assassination, I took a day not to talk shit, but that's about all you're going to get out of me in terms of good grace. But especially when we're talking about all the major members of Trump's cabinet arriving to a funeral. It's a quasi-state function at that point, especially when the words there are like riffing off tariffs, talking about policies, invoking like blood and soil, and these people don't make anything, trying to convert people with the imprimatur of the state. Like at that point, we would be shills and fucking losers and pathetic people not to call that shit out. This isn't like some random funeral where we have to obey this niceties and all that shit. This is
is it true?
Political rally.
His parents didn't show up. His parents and sister didn't go to that.
That's wild. I mean, that just
I don't know
tells
if that's true. I'm spreading misinformation, but that would just add credence to the fact like this isn't a funeral. This is them capitalizing off of this. That's all this is for. Like most of those people probably didn't give a shit that he's gone.
Well, Trump's like media MO for as long as I can remember, especially in politics, is he just tries to project strength and popularity. And I think they just think that if they just pretend like everybody likes him and he's this beloved president, that they can actually manifest it into a reality. And I feel like that's what they've been doing for the last week.
Can we talk about?
But there's been 2 polls that have come out since Charlie Kirk has been shot that show Trump's numbers going down. Like how is one of the most prominent voices in the entire conservative movement murdered in such a public way, and then your approval numbers go down? Like how incompetent do you have to be as a leader to not feel like anybody who was competent would and somewhat like politically aware would be able to juice their numbers up a little bit off of something like that?
No, most people didn't know who he was. He was not a household name. So I don't think it had that big of an impact, especially over all the bad things that are happening with him, with the economy, especially, and
well, they're definitely
his existing problems.
They're definitely trying to manifest this, like they're calling it, this is the turning point. And so I think like for them, Meghan McCain, she did a tweet yesterday basically saying, yes, today was the day that Republicans won. And like, I think it's just like a massive bubble that they all exist in right now. And I don't know if it's a combination of that and then them just trying to like fake it till you make it.
Kind of like Meghan McCain though. She's like, yes, go the guy who mocked my father for getting captured in Vietnam.
Dude,
is that seriously where she's at again? All right.
Nothing makes Republicans hornier than praising somebody who's insulted their parents or their spouses. Ted Cruz, Meghan McCain, it's a fucking pandemic on the right. I do want to say, though, we need to look at this clip from Trump because especially with all the discourse going on about condemning violence and bringing down the temperature, this is the sitting president of the United States.
Right before this, Erica Trump, who is Charlie Kirk's widow, says that she...
Not Trump.
Oh, my God. Erica Kirk, who is Charlie Kirk's widow. I'm sorry. Although he was getting a little handsy. I don't know. Erica Kirk basically said something I think is honorable and living up to, like, I don't know, Christian ideals. I don't know. But she said that she forgave the shooter. And Trump comes out and says this.
In that private moment on his dying day, we find everything we need to know about who Charlie Kirk truly was. He was a missionary with a noble spirit and a great, great purpose. He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent. And I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erica. But now...
Yeah, and so just like this is... I think, like, again, it goes to part of the problem here, which Trump being graded on a curve, but in all the discourse about condemning violence and lowering the temperature, I'm sorry, I am prepared to be the last man standing on this proverbial hill. He's the sitting president of the United States. And so more than anybody on this fucking channel, more than Destiny, Kyle Kalinske, whoever it is, Piers Morgan, if you're watching, like and subscribe, Donald Trump has the obligation, the foremost obligation to turn down the temperature. And it's not just that he's not doing it. Every time he has the opportunity to do it, he deliberately cranks that son of a bitch up. And it's like, that's a problem. That is, these words matter.
You can get away with that if you're actually acting on some kind of deliverables, but he has utterly failed so far to deliver like a good economy. And so I think people are going to grade him less on a curve when he's ratcheting up the temperature right now because their wallets are hurting right now. If he actually halved people's energy prices and grocery prices went down or whatever, I think that people would be willing to turn the other way. But I think that in the absence of those things, they get a lot more angry, I think.
Did
But
you
Also,
see
the idea
Maryland-
that he says that Charlie didn't hate his enemies. He just called for Joe Biden to be executed or whatever. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
There was
so
no hate. There was no
wild, yeah.
hate there. He just wants him
He
to
called
die
for
for
Mehdi to
treason.
be deported. He's like, we can't lionize this guy. This guy was a propagandist shill, a government bootlicker whose entire job was to spew out the government narrative. Like, we're going to lionize this guy? He was just an
Peaceful, what makes you think he was
outgrowth
so
of the
connected
state.
with the government? What makes you say that? Do you think?
Well,
I thought
because
he
he
was just a podcaster.
He was fielding calls from Trump and members of the administration like, hey, shut up about Epstein. Yes, sir.
You think
Hey,
the
shut
Trump
up about
admin
the
had a
Iran
close
strike.
relationship with Trump?
Oh, sure. Oh, sure.
He
Yes.
was just
And
a debater.
He was just
Kirk
yeah.
was
He was just doing
recommending-
politics the right way. Pisco. What do you mean?
Kirk was recommending to the administration people to fill the administration. So he was operating as an extension of the Trump administration. He was a propagandist, bootlicking shill that none of us should respect his legacy. This is not a respectful legacy. And it's deplorable for us to even have this pantomime that Charlie Kirk, all about free speech, all about loving each other. No, nothing of the sort.
Well, they were definitely trying to. Go ahead, play it.
I was just gonna say real quick, just to like close the loop on this. Carolyn Levitt was asked about this today, and I think she gave the worst fucking answer imaginable, which was basically,
Wait.
Trump is himself. He's authentically himself.
Before you hit play,
Go ahead.
How old is she?
She's in her, like,
27 or
late 20s.
28.
Yeah.
Why does she look 50?
Because evil
Yikes,
ages
you don't do
you.
this.
Do you ever watch Star Wars? The
Evil
Emperor
does
is
age
not
you.
like 200 years old. He's actually just like
35.
Yeah.
Sure, in the pink.
Average feminist.
Liz Landers with PBS NewsHour. I just wanted to follow up quickly on something that the president had said yesterday. So we heard from Erica Kirk. She said she forgives the man who shot and killed her husband. And then right after that, we heard from the president who said, I hate my opponent and I don't want the best for them. How does that square with bringing down the temperature of political violence in this country? And then, if I could, I had a follow-up on Venezuela, too.
Look, the president is authentically himself. I think that's why millions of Americans across the country love him and support him, including Erica Kirk, who you saw so beautifully was on stage with the president in an unthinkable moment, in the midst of an unthinkable tragedy, and was leaning on the president for support during that time. And he was there to give it to her, as well as the vice president and many other top-ranking cabinet officials.
So listen, when the president said he hates 50% of this country, he's just being himself and shut the fuck up, you know?
I'm pretty sure I saw a clip of Erica Kirk coming out to sparks flying like it's a WWE event. So I just don't buy this whole thing. I don't think anything's going to come of this either, because like they keep saying on the right, we didn't riot when Charlie was killed. Yeah, because you don't give a shit. So I don't think these guys have any energy or momentum behind this. Yeah, they'll start some chapters and some people will go read the Bible for the first time and they're going to be bored to shit and right back to whatever they were doing.
I was a lot more worried last week. This week, less so. Because I just feel like they overstepped way too far. Like they were trying to strong arm everybody into like to what Pisco was talking about. And, you know, they were treating people that were basically just quoting him as like, being disrespectful
As celebrators
of Charlie Kirk's legacy. And
Do you think
I just feel like that doesn't really work on most people. You know, I feel like you have to be like a teenager to succumb to that kind of manipulation.
Hutch, do you think the Kimmel cancellation derailed it too? Because that was what I
Yeah,
felt.
yeah.
Like,
They fucked up the news cycle. That for sure took up the oxygen for a couple days.
Well, remember I don't know if I said here, but I said in 2 weeks, it's over. The Charlie Kirk story's over. As soon as that memorial happens, it's done. And I really think it's over. I don't think anyone will be talking about him in the next couple of weeks.
I agree with the IRI that a lot of these people don't give a fuck about Charlie Kirk. They were selling like merch with like bullet holes and blood. You want to talk about like not being respectful to a man who's died. All of their conduct afterwards, a lot of it has been grifting. I do appreciate like if they're going to do something, if they're going to honor him, to like they're doing slam poetry and songs and stuff. And so like if they have some creative outlets that they want to do, that's all well and good, but don't force us and don't force the mainstream media to have to pretend that this pantomime is anything other than, celebrating the death of, celebrating the life of someone who really the country shouldn't idolize, and we shouldn't pretend as though this person is some heroic figure on the level of Martin Luther King.
how did you all
He
feel
hated, by the
about
way.
the congressional votes about it, like the House resolution, the Senate resolution. How'd you all feel about that?
Why did
Both
Democrats
the
vote for
substance
it?
and the politics?
Well, why did only 30 Democrats vote against one of these resolutions of like making a Charlie Kirk
Wasn't it like
Remembrance
50?
Day?
I think it was like
It
50.
was
wasn't it?
58, and
whatever.
then 40 something like voted, or
think they
30
just-
something voted like or stayed present or something like that.
I kind of get it insofar as like they don't want the heat of like, look at they all hated Charlie Kirk, and it's like whatever. This is meaningless both ways, and you're not going to get us in some gotcha like we hate Charlie Kirk. We voted no on honoring a dead guy because they're just going to use that against them. That's pretty much the only reason I can think they did that. But I don't know. That's the best.
In my opinion, they still haven't gotten the message. They still haven't gotten the memo, and they're not really up for the fight right now. Many of them are. I think there are a lot of good examples of that. But some of these people, the fact that it's the same kind of rationale about why they voted for the Laken Riley Act. It's because they didn't want to get stung with this kind of opprobrium or something. But just vote your conscience. We don't need a Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day. I wouldn't even support flying the flags at half-mast.
Hutch, what do you think?
Well,
buddy? IRI, what do you
Charles, who are you asking?
think? Both of you. You were
Well,
both
Charles-
very quiet.
Charles Schumer is about to win you back over with the government shutdown. We are full steam ahead, Pisco. You're about to become a Chuck Schumer stan after this. Watch.
The people
IRI,
are aroused.
did you see what he said though? When they asked what happens if Republicans like don't go along with it, like what happens if they don't negotiate it? They asked if he's still going to vote against it, and he just wouldn't answer the question. That's kind of making me nervous.
Well, he's
making me nervous,
keeping
too.
his cards close to the vest, man. You can't give away the strategy, but there's no time unless the Senate approves the House version because the House is out.
Wait,
Senate,
IRI,
Congress
this is
was
what he
out
was
this
saying in
week.
May. So
Huh?
this like he was giving a strategy away in May, right? Like unless he's got like a different little negotiating thing that he's going to try now. Don't you think it's like what's he really got like up his sleeve?
Well, they're going for it because they'd have to pass the House version because that Congress is out this week and then they don't come back till Wednesday, which is already October 1st. So I don't think the Dems are backing down this time, and they're demanding the ACA subsidies be renewed. So we're going to see what happens here, but I think they're full steam ahead.
Hutch,
I don't
what
trust
about
them on
you?
TV, IRI. I don't trust them on TV.
I mean, I just wanted to say, Pisco. Sometimes there's more moderate Democrats serving in more moderate districts, and they have a different constituency. It shouldn't bother you. I'm just saying, we've had this conversation so many times. You just want everybody to vote the same. And
No, I want them to
like-
vote against. So yes, I want them in the context of any kind of like, in terms of policy, great. You know, if there's some fucking policy stuff, if there's some kind of virtue signal that isn't related to authoritarian government, but this is directly related to authoritarian government and the government's efforts to clamp down on free speech. And so, yeah, that's a bare minimum that I want for my Democratic Congress people.
What does that have to
is
do with the
fight
Charlie
against that
Kirk
shit.
resolution, though?
Because they're using the Charlie Kirk resolution as part of their cry to clamp down on free speech, and that is related. And so I think it's incumbent on all Democratic members to call that out and to not vote for things that are part of a signal that's part of an all of government effort to clamp down on free speech. That is a line for me. Yeah, I understand.
I just don't think it matters. Like this is such a symbolic
then
nothing
matters
vote.
Because they were going to pass it anyway.
No,
I mean, this is kind of your
things
approach.
matter, but this vote just did not matter. It's a purely symbolic vote. And if somebody felt pressure from their own
vote
constituents
itself,
if they felt like this would be a liability, then it doesn't matter. Who cares?
The vote itself isn't what matters in the sense that this is going to pass anyway. Who cares? It's indicative of weakness. It's indicative of weakness, and all these members. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And all of these members.
Every representative is accountable to their own constituents, bro.
So it's
not everybody. Not every constituency is the same.
Your explanation doesn't resolve why. How many members voted in favor, right? Your explanation, there's some moderate members, dude. Come on, they got to vote. That doesn't explain over 100 plus members. They're not all in fucking swing districts. They're not all moderates.
Deal with
so your explanation doesn't.
They don't want to deal with the hassle of Republicans accusing them of not doing. No, sometimes things make you politically vulnerable, and for some people, they have a lot more insulation from that kind of danger. If you're in like a D plus 40 district or something like that, you don't really need to worry about stuff like that. But if you're in a close district, who cares?
Didn't Bernie Sanders vote yes? I mean, he's pretty solidly in a blue, right? I think it's not just about the swing thing, Hutch, but I disagree with you, Peace Guy. I do think I understand why you're saying it's weak, but it's just, hey, I don't want this heat. There's so many more things we're about to fight on, like the shutdown bill, which, by the way, I think we should play the game.
So just vote present. Vote. Why are you voting in favor? If that's the thing, just vote present. I mean,
I'm curious. I'm curious for IRI's take on this because I was trying to come up with examples. have Democrats ever done like this sort of shit to Republicans, like just make them eat unpopular symbolic votes?
Yeah, both
like,
parties do
Let's
it.
do the Charlie Kirk Memorial Shutdown bill. If you're against it, you hate Charlie Kirk. Okay?
Yeah, like right, like
Well,
the
but-
equivalent of if you read this, you're gay bill or something like that. You know what I mean? Like
No.
just
No.
right. No, like is there anything?
But
that,
that's
Go
because
ahead.
we're built different, Josiah. Like Democrats at our core want to solve problems and get things done. So they'll always look for some bipartisan way to bring people together because that's the job by definition.
Oh,
I
was
understand
waiting
it
for more-
doesn't meet
yeah.
the moment right
Yeah,
now.
I
I
just want
understand
a bit
that.
of
I understand the
both.
frustration. But ultimately, that's the job. I know we have to get through this step first before we get to that. So I just think it's still built within the Democrats to do that. Look for ways to work together.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out though. If there was ever a time, because I couldn't think of one where like the shoe was on the other foot, and okay, counterfactual. Like obviously, I know that there was a bipartisan resolution about Melissa Hortman. My gut feeling is if that resolution was a bit more robust, like the language used in the Charlie Kirk one, we're talking about not just like we're honoring her life, but it was like whereas Charlie Kirk was like a champion of free speech, whereas he had the fattest cock. Like he was just going into vivid detail. If there was something like that about Melissa Hortman, you know, whereas Melissa Hortman was morally superior to every Republican who's ever or a national Melissa Hortman Remembrance Day where we remember where Melissa Hortman was assassinated by a radical Trump support. Like if we tried to match that energy, I wonder if Republicans would vote against it. My expectation is they would, including like the swing state Republicans. I don't think we'd get, you know, fucking Don Bacon voting for it, you know, out of Nebraska. And so that's why I'm curious, like, I wonder, has the shoe ever been on the other foot, and could the shoe ever be on the other foot? It just feels like one of those things where we constantly have to vote for these like really fucking annoying, you know.
Both parties do it, by the way. Both parties do it. They try to make
you
the
have
other party.
one that
No,
jumps
I
to
mean, I
mind?
can't think of something off the top of my head. But
I do
Nancy,
wanna
Nancy
read what the actual
Pelosi.
language was, because like it says here, like I get why you would vote for something like this, right? It says, you know, praise Kirk as a courageous American patriot who boldly lived out his faith with conviction, courage, and compassion. Like, okay, yeah, that's probably why a lot of people voted no. But it also calls upon all Americans, regardless of race, party affiliation, or creed, to reject political violence, recommit to respectful debate, uphold American values, and respect one another as fellow Americans. So, like, given that language, I can see why a Democratic politician might say, oh, this would look bad if I vote against this. And even the ones that did vote against it. So like Mark Vesey said, I'm introducing an alternative measure that just condemns political violence. And then that garnered, what, 118 co-sponsors. So it's like, okay.
Or even condemn it specifically against Kirk. Yeah, I'm fine
whereas
with that.
Charlie Kirk personified the values of the First Amendment, exercising his God-given right to speak freely, challenging prevailing narratives when he was the progenitor of government propaganda, and did so with honor, courage, and respect for his fellow Americans. Whereas Charlie Kirk was a fierce defender of the American founding and its timeless principles of life, liberty, limited government, and individual responsibility. This motherfucker tried to overturn an election. And no, I would vote this down every single day of the week. You say it doesn't matter because what? Because people are going to be, this isn't going to matter to the fucking constituents. They're not going to fucking bring this up as like, oh, because you will have an explanation. And I think it speaks to the weakness of some of these Dems. They don't feel that they're able to be quick on their feet and have an explanation.
You're just horny to call Democrats weak.
No,
any
I'm
chance
not
you
at
can
all.
get. Yes,
I am
you are.
not horny to do
You
that at all.
absolutely are.
No,
100%.
We see the microphone stand shaking.
That is not true at all. That is
But
not
you
true
said
at
it
all.
doesn't. If you said it doesn't matter, then you kind of give the whole game away.
No.
It's more of a headache to just not.
No, I'm saying it's indicative of weakness. That it's indicative that it shows, right? Something in and of itself. Who the fuck cares about the resolution? I'm not going to be calling out the Democrats for this resolution in fucking 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But it's a sign. It's a sign that these people are not meeting the moment because they don't feel like they can stand on principle and actually be strong Democrats. This vote to me is meaningless in the long term, 100%. But it shows that these people, I think, are weak.
Go ahead, IRI.
Well, I was going to say, I think if you zoom out a bit, though, and you think about the public perception of Charlie Kirk, it's been sold as here's a guy who's just going around to college campuses talking politics, and he got killed doing what we all want us to do is talk and have debate. I understand that's not the story of what he was really doing, but I feel like that's how most people look at what Charlie Kirk was doing.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because so today was a relatively low output video day for me, and I was trying to see what was going on. Like yesterday, there was a shit ton of videos I did, and while I was waiting, I had a text message from a really good friend of mine. I'm the godfather to his daughter. That's how close we are. And I didn't realize, I should have expected, he had become a big fan of Charlie Kirk, I suppose, over the years, and even more so after Kirk was assassinated. And we've had some really productive conversations. He's a conservative, but he's a never Trump Republican. He's never voted for Trump. And the last conversation that we had, I told him my position. Like, listen, violence sucks. I felt bad for, Charlie Kirk's family, whatever. It was viscerally disgusting what happened. I'm not going to lionize him or pretend that I respected him or liked his views. I didn't, but that doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. All the stuff we talked about. And during one of the conversations, he was like, so why didn't you, given like free speech and debate and all the shit, like why weren't you a big fan of his? And I was like, well, I never felt that he particularly lived up to the espoused principles. Like, he co-signed or celebrated all of Trump's, censorious bullshit, the attacks on law firms, universities, et cetera, and so forth.
Yep.
He tried to overturn the election, like all these other things. And I said, like, even like a recent example with the Epstein files, which is he tried to pump the brakes on the Epstein files after spending the entire election saying that, Biden could snap his fingers and release the files, and Trump makes a phone call to him and is like, hey, ease up. Anyway, long story short, so he sends me a message a couple of days later today and very gently read me the riot act. He's like, there's more to the story here, and I'm disappointed. And we ended up having a 2-hour conversation about it, where it's like, Kirk, I don't think lived up to his principles at all. And it is interesting, like the sort of revisionist history going around. This is a person who, I don't associate Kirk with principle, and it seems like there's going to be a massive sanitation project for his reputation that I do imagine will be pretty successful.
You know what? No, I got to push back on that, because I was a little worried about that happening, but basically everyone on the left that I've seen on social media and in the media have not sanitized.
Oh, no, not on the left. I'm sorry. I just meant like the broader public.
You mean like
Ezra
normies?
Klein, dude.
Yeah,
One of the biggest
yeah.
libs ever, dude. Ezra Klein's out there saying like, we need more Charlie Kirks. 10 million Charlie Kirks, sign me up. One more Charlie Kirk for me. I'm hungry for more Charlie Kirk. That's what he's saying.
His article was insane. I mean, there were some parts of it that I agreed with, like where basically he just says, Charlie Kirk, we don't have a reason to believe he committed a crime. Like, we have no reason to believe that he committed like illegal violence. And I'm like, if that's the sense in which Charlie Kirk upheld the values of America, okay, I guess agreed. But that's not what people mean when they say he did it the right way. And later on in the video or in the actual article, he's extolling him. He's basically suggesting this person is like an ideal that we should live up to. And I just thought it was sickening to read.
What do you all think? You still want to milk the Charlie Kirk stuff, but the other thing that just popped into mind is, how about that TikTok thing, man? I'm worried about the media ecosystem. I'm not gonna lie. I know Kimmel's coming back, but I'm worried about TikTok. Like that, you have Larry Ellison's gonna be on the board there. Rupert and Lachlan Murdoch of Fox News. Like this shit's not good, guys. It's not good. It's not good at all.
Go for it. Well,
as far as the Charlie Kirk thing, I mean, do you guys? What about the whole destiny part of this and what happened with him? Is that something you guys want to not talk about? It's fine if not.
Be specific. What do you mean?
Well, he's on prime time on Fox News being labeled as wishing the death of conservatives. I mean, he basically got launched into the stratosphere as public enemy number one for the right. It's pretty fascinating.
Well, soy pill actually. Yeah, go ahead.
Debate it. No, you got it, Hutch. But I just wanted to say that I thought that soy pill in that encounter with him, it revealed a lot of what his thinking was, a lot of talking past each other. And I've had a lot of disagreements with Destiny in recent months, but I stand 100% behind one, his right to say what he's going to say. A lot of members of our government and the richest man on the earth are saying that he should be imprisoned for what he's saying because of the fear of Republican things, but I have to say, a lot of it is taken out of context and it's not what he's suggesting. And I think what the Republicans are saying, Betty Johnson was saying that the evil people need to live in fear. They need to be terrified. And it's the exact same thing, 1-to-1, because he was calling Democrats all evil in the aftermath of the shooting. So one, I want to condemn and stand with Destiny in the sense that he should have his right respected, and two, I don't agree with this demonetization either. I think that people are way too quick to demonetize, and they're basically caving, I think Google is to pressure from outsiders on this rhetoric and not being consistent on it. So yeah, I think that by and large, I don't agree with this like don't condemn thing. You can condemn and also be strong, like Soypill and Hutch have talked about, and I totally agree with them on that. But in general, I think we should stand by people who are getting their rights attacked by the government.
We'll return to this in just a second, but somebody in chat pointed this out. Sinclair has issued a statement regarding Kimmel. Beginning Tuesday night, Sinclair will be preempting Jimmy Kimmel Live across our ABC affiliate stations and replacing it with news programming. Discussions with ABC are ongoing as we evaluate the show's potential return.
So he might not be back.
Wow. They're going to have outraged customers. They don't just represent conservatives. They're going to have a lot of liberals like, what the fuck, dude? Interesting. Because those are local ABC affiliates. That's like people's local ABC channel. There's no way around that unless you go on the internet or something.
No, but Soypill, you had a chance to confront Destiny to his face. What was that like?
Yeah, I got a lot of flack from the DGG community because I did it in front of a MAGA crowd, and I even, it was funny. One of the reasons they were cheering me on is because they were heckling him the whole time, and I went up and I talked to them like a bunch of toddlers, and I was like, hey, like you get real quiet, and you're like, hey, I'm about to go up and ask a question. If you want me to say anything to him and you don't want to yell, you can say it to me. So they were ready for me to be MAGA and say some MAGA things. But it's true. I was in front of an audience who was, going to be just mad at him no matter what. I just have an issue with not the calling out the double standard, which I think is insane and completely correct. Not with him, trying to hold up a mirror to MAGA, but just the ultimate end goal of, hey, it takes nothing for you to just be like, yeah, I condemn violence, but this is obviously not our fault, and we should go after any and all political violence. It should be the all lives matter of the left right now. It's like, yeah, all violence is bad. Now, why the fuck is the president not condemning it? I just think that one extra step that he's not taking is dangerous insofar as it's letting the right wing hyper focus on that. The clips look awful out of context or even in context. And I'm honestly worried, some of the stuff I've seen from his community, that it's like, yeah, a lot of you guys are too smart to do anything stupid, but all it takes is
you're right
one,
about
so.
that. So you're right about that. And I do want to say, obviously I agree with you and both Hutch, who's made this point forcefully. And this is always Hutch's refrain, which I oftentimes agree with, which is, what do we gain from XYZ? I think it's a good practical strategy. And I agree with him in this context and with you, Soypill. But I think you did something I didn't agree with in that exchange. You referred to his statements as incitement. And that's not incitement. What he said does not at all fit the bill for any kind of incitement. And I think that you're playing into the right-wing narrative, Soypill, when you construe his statements as incitement.
In the legal sense, this is my understanding of it. Tell me what I'm wrong about, right?
Yeah.
When he says, and again, he's clarified this, of course, but in these conversations and on Piers, when he says the right wing should be more afraid after refusing to condemn left-wing terrorism, it's like, wow, that really sounds like you're saying we should use left-wing terrorism to scare the right wing. That's what that sounds like.
Okay, that's what it sounds like to you. I don't. That to me isn't encouragement of violence. It's not saying, it's certainly not incitement. And when you use a term like incitement, that is unfortunately a legal term of consequence. Incitement is not protected by the First Amendment. So even if what you're saying is just the colloquial version of incitement, where it's just encouragement of violence, I don't think you should say incitement because people will take that as a legal term and it will play into the narrative of we should jail these fucking people. So I didn't agree with that. And I don't think he's actually encouraging violence there. I think he's saying that he's happy if it happens, or not directly saying he's happy if it's happened, but he's basically saying, that he doesn't feel bad if it occurs. And I don't agree with that. I think that's wrong. But yeah,
I just want to back up Pisco briefly and just say, I think what Destiny's saying, it's like you want people to drive a little scared. You know what I mean? It's not that it means something dangerous should happen, but it's like you want to be on, a little scared when you're driving because you want to be on the lookout for people doing bad stuff. So you got to chill a little bit. You can't just slam the horn at everybody. You can't cut people off, So I think that in my opinion, that's all he was saying is like people need to chill out and be a little more concerned about the outcome of their crazy words, Yeah.
All right. To be clear, I think he's clarified since then in a way that I'm like, I see that is what he means. But that is not what I took away from our initial conversation, even a little past that on the Piers panel. And that's why I tried to clarify with it. And it seems to me that this message that he's saying could be told in a lot less inflammatory, aggro inducing way. That's all I kind of walked away with at the end.
I agree with you, but that's Destiny style. And also I think it caused some people to go, well, what did Trump say? Did Trump not condemn it? Because, I know a lot of people probably said, Destiny's just calling for violence, but I think it did cause some people to focus on Trump's bullshit too.
I mean, I have normies. You're muted, Josiah, just so you know.
Sorry.
That entire time.
Yeah. All I was going to say was the what's interesting is following that appearance by Destiny on Piers, like Waja Ali, who is he works with Mehdi Hassan. He's got his own show. I really like him. He kind of adopted a similar approach. He was basically live streaming or live tweeting to Charlie Kirk's memorial, and he wasn't insulting him. He was just like posting a bunch of quotes of Charlie Kirk. And Piers Morgan was pissed, and so was it was Eric Bowling and Carrie Lake, and it was Tim Miller and Waja Ali on the most recent episode of Piers Morgan about this. And Piers is just doubling down on this, well, you don't need to set your store by what Trump does and all this other stuff. So I just think, they took a slightly different approach. Like, obviously, Waj didn't say anything quite as incendiary as what Destiny did, but he just kept doubling down. Like, listen, I'm not going to play this game where I'm held to a higher standard or even an equal standard to the president of the United States. And he was fairly belligerent for Waj, like the entire time. He was interrupting, he was quoting, he was like, here, I've got the quote again, I'll be happy to read it. It was very much a Destiny style, which I appreciated that. And I do think that even though I certainly wouldn't take the approach that Destiny took on that first episode of Piers, watching Waj, who's like really even-tempered, like start to lean in that direction, I think we're going to see more liberal commentators start to do that. I like you said the all lives matter approach. I really like that, this idea that, conservatives used to love to do that. When the shoe was on the other foot or the shoe was on the other shoe, which was on the other foot or whatever the fuck Anna Kasparian said. And I feel like that'd be a good way to make the point and also trigger them at the same time, because obviously they're not looking for condemnation of violence across the board. They want people to prostrate themselves and condemn Charlie Kirk's violence, or violence against Kirk specifically, which, by the way, I'm still happy to do. But I understand why.
That's where Hutch and Soypill are right. I just think it's both the truth to say we condemn the violence, and also I heard Destiny say it's bad and shouldn't happen. That's what a condemnation is. And so if this is just an obstinate refusal to say the word I condemn or disavow, I think that's stupid.
Which he did later on in that debate anyway. I mean, he said that with Piers or whatever. He's just like, no, to answer your question, of course, I don't think anybody should, suffer political violence in this country for expressing an opinion, but I'm just not going to be forced to be the first one to initiate this sort of reconciliation when liberals, progressives, and Democrats have always taken the first step time and time and time again. I think it's a fair point.
I have some DGG people that show up in my chat for the live streams, and I've been going back and forth with them for like a few days. And I think the thing that bothered me the most that I was getting from them is that they were treating a simple condemnation of violence as a transactional thing. Like, they were asking, like, what do we get for that? And that to me was like very deeply cynical. It just really got under my skin. And they were treating what they call like unilateral disarmament. So this idea that, Obama, for example, he condemned political violence. They were treating that like weakness. And I couldn't get them to see it in any other way. They were treating that like a concession. And I think in a moment like this, when something like that happens, it sort of does transcend partisan lines. And if you're like a fan of liberal democracy, you should just principally oppose political violence, no matter what you thought about Charlie Kirk.
There's a very thin line, Hutch. Would you disagree that it's like saying all political violence is bad, I condemn it, and, oh, I'm so sorry, right wing, my rhetoric did this, and let me get on my knees and kiss your feet, because that's kind of how they're treating it, and there's obviously two different ways. And I would say, Pisco, I would agree, the resolution being like, oh, yes, Charlie Kirk was absolutely like the patriot that we all deserve to be. Right, that's a little more prostrating than, just saying, I condemn violence.
Well, that's how they were taking it. So like a simple condemnation of violence, they were sort of translating that to suggest that, how people take it is an apology. And I don't think that's true, first of all. Like, I don't think normies heard Obama condemn political violence and then took it as an apology
or something.
Now, obviously, like MAGA, they're going to try to coerce and manipulate and get people to do that sort of apologetic thing. You obviously shouldn't do that. But like the whole conversation I found just like so cynical, and it just got under my skin, to be honest.
Hutch, I agree with you, but then I have to ask Soy Pill a question and criticize him another time, which I hate because I love the Soy Pill. Why are you asking this fucking question? Like, why don't we move on? Yeah, we should condemn it, but like, why are you going and asking him and
so what was really frustrating about
this
it
fucking
was
controversy?
every single person in line. I wasn't even going to go up because I'm like, whatever. I already had this conversation with on stream. Every single time someone would bring it up, they're all MAGA, so we just kept deflecting and being like, well, Trump, well, Trump, well, Trump, which is valid, by the way, because it is a horrible, stupid, fucking double standard that you're holding a streamer to the same standard as the president, and they don't give a shit about that. But it's like, okay, but I care about this. I'm not a MAGA person. You can't use that defense on me. Like, can you just answer this? Like, in our own community, why won't you just say it this way? It's not that hard.
Well,
like, what's your purpose? That was my purpose of going up there.
I just want to say, I know Hutch and Soy Pill have gotten a lot of heat from the Destiny community over their comments, but I know your guys' hearts are in the right place, and I know that you're bringing up these concerns because you feel that it's maybe causing some damage. I don't think you guys are like angry at Destiny or anything like that. But I want to ask you guys, Hutch and Soy Pill, do you think that Destiny is making your job harder? Because I don't think so. I think he's in his own world. He's fighting his way, and I don't think it affects anyone else's arguments or what you're fighting for. But I'm curious what you guys think.
Well, I mean, I can't speak for Soypel, but like it shows up in my channel. So like he's a really influential guy. Like he has like a very, very, very like one of the most dedicated followings of anybody that covers politics. He's not like literally the biggest political streamer, but his community is super in tune with what he says. And so from him, it bleeds out into other platforms, and you start seeing these arguments over and over and over again. And I think I'm not mad at him, but I'm disappointed because I think he was very irresponsible, and I think it had a really negative influence on the people that look to him for guidance and an example.
Yeah, like
but
ultimately, go ahead.
Well, I just want to say quickly that I think I try so hard to try to support what all my content creators do on the left. Even if I disagree, I try to find the silver lining. So do you not see anything positive coming out of this?
No, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, like, yeah, this is like ultimately like, why even be upset about this? Is it really a big deal? Because he's not the fucking president. This is a very minor thing. I really don't want to talk about it past today because it's like, whatever, because it's not as big of a deal. But ultimately, based on what he's trying to do, I think more people are not going to be converted by looking at him and then thinking, oh, wait, well, what did Trump say? Than people who would look at the 30-second clips, 60-second clips of the worst possible interpretation, which get blasted over the right-wing media. Like, that's going to happen no matter what. What he's doing, though, is providing like the easiest like straw man version of that by saying the worst possible thing out of context, or if it doesn't fully represent him. I think more people will be turned away from our movement based on those statements than will be turned away from Trump by him highlighting the double standard. That's the ultimate.
I don't necessarily even disagree with that. I think that it was stupid to do, and I think part of the stupidness is every time like redone when in my call-ins, half of them are people saying like, what do you think about this discourse and like reopening the wound after this is like a done conversation. I think it's stupid. But what are you expecting, Soypel? You're not going to change his mind, right? What is he going to say? Actually, you're right. I should like. There's no world. Steven's already someone who's not going to just like change his mind on willy-nilly. And if he does, I think he's very oppositional in nature. What are you looking for to extract from him right there? Actually, I was wrong this entire time in front of a MAGA crowd. I just think it's going to happen. And so I don't know what your goal is in asking the question. Other than
my goal was to get him to clarify
like
what he's actually trying to do, because he really did not make this clear. It's like, are you just trying to highlight the double standard? Is that really it? Because part of me and some of these people in these communities, they're like, oh, you're trying to get him to Fed post. It's like, whoa, are you saying that he actually does want more violence, but he just doesn't want to say it, and he's just kind of implying that it should happen? Like, I really just wanted that clarification, and I was really tired of watching him dismiss people based on things that are valid because it is a double standard. But you can't have that with me because I'm gonna, you're preaching to the choir on any Trump thing that's bad. So ultimately, I'll say this: the fact that he's getting flack from Elon Musk, even maybe Donald Trump talking about streamers, the fact that he's getting demonetized is the more important thing here, that they're cracking down on these peoples and their free speech. And like, regardless of any disagreements, regardless of anything that has happened with these people, like if this happened to Hassan too, we should be supporting them, because it's fucking ridiculous that the administration is able to go after streamers like this. So this is like, again, hopefully the last time I really do talk about this, because it's not nearly so important as the fact that our current admin says, hey, you say things I don't like, no more money for you. We're going to take your job away. That's what deserves.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody has anything else to say on this, but if they do, just wrap it up real quick, because like as a counterpoint, like I just saw this on Fox in response to what Trump said about, hating his opponents. Does anyone have anything else they want to say before we?
Last thing I'll say is I totally ratify what Soypil says there. We need to focus, and that's why all my tweets have been defend Destiny's First Amendment rights, defend Hassan's First Amendment rights, defend Antifa's First Amendment rights, that the focus of liberal content creators should be on defending the rights of the people of the United States, including people who are a little unhinged.
Well, I mean, just to answer IRI's question, you asked if there was anything that I agreed with. I agree with like 99% of what he was saying after the shooting. I mean, he's correct to point out this absurd double standard. He's correct that all too often Democrats are expected to be the adults in the room, and there's just no pressure put on Republicans. He's correct to focus on that after Charlie Kirk was shot and the rest of the discourse. It was just that one particular strategy. I wasn't anticipating talking about it anymore. You know, the only reason we're talking about it is because you brought it up. But I mean, to Pisco's point, like, should we not criticize prominent people in the space when they say something you disagree with?
I totally agree that we definitely should. In fact, I was criticizing Rob Noor for saying he wouldn't do that. My only question is, like,
I saw that video, or like half of that video.
Yeah.
That shit was crazy.
Wild. But like, my only thing is, like, how much are you going to emphasize it, and degrees of like what matters. So yeah, I agree. You should condemn violence for all the reasons that Hutch was saying, for all the reasons Soypo was saying. I'm sure IR agrees. I know Josiah agrees. And all that is like true. And we can say it and it can either be true. And if we're asked, we're like, listen, I already condemned that we didn't condemn or something, or I already said what I had to say about that. But my problem is these kind of ritual conversations when look at what's happening with MAGA. And that's kind of Destiny's point, which is the part of it that I agree with, which is, why are we spending as much inordinate amount of time as we do policing our own side in that sense, when we should be, I think, spending much more of our time not having these ritual conversations and attacking the abuses of government coming from the administration.
So on that note, just as a juxtaposition, I want you all to consider this. We played earlier what Donald Trump said at Charlie Kirk's memorial. We played Carolyn Levitt's response to it when she was called out for it. Now, remember, Fox News is not alternate media. They're not like they're the outlier. They are mainstream media, by far the biggest and most successful players in mainstream media. And this is one of the highest rated, if not the highest rated show on Fox. And this is what Jesse Waters has to say about Donald Trump, saying he hates Democrats in this country and does not wish them well.
Donald Trump is just like the rest of us, though. After what they've done to him, after what they did to Charlie, he doesn't want to forgive. He actually does hate the people that hate him. And that's okay, too. He's not perfect. He's going to say it how it is. He's an authentic guy. He's not going to pretend to be a fake Christian. And there's a part of the country that says we have to forgive these people. And there's another part of the country that says no. And that's where we are as a country. And that's
these
okay.
people,
Can
you pause? They're blaming Democrats for murdering Charlie Kirk. They're blaming me. They're blaming Josiah. They're blaming you in the audience, you Democrat. They're saying you killed him. That's the shit. You know what that's called? That's called scapegoating. And that's maybe that's their theology, saying, Jesus died for your sins. Charlie Kirk died for everyone's sins. And they're doing collective guilt, and they're scapegoating the rest of the entire Democratic Party. And so when they try to tell you that this rhetoric about, Republicans in fear, that is something, no, they're trying to put us in fear with their rhetoric. You can see it in all the replies. You're scared. You're scared. You're scared. We know where you live. That kind of shit. It's everywhere. So yeah, I mean, this is just disgraceful from Fox. The collective guilt, this should be self-discredit. He should be fired for blaming all of Democrats for this.
Well, Pisco, this is the classic, like, Trump says something fucked up, and you look at, like, the dialogue trees expand from the Republican Party of, like, which defense do we go with? Because half the people right now are saying, oh, he's just joking. He was, making a joke, like, oh, I'm not like Erica. I'm more of a guy, which is already, even if that is what it was, terrible that the president is joking about hating the opposition, which is half the country. But the other half is, oh, no, actually, that's totally fine, because, he just tells it like it is. And it's fine that he was totally being truthful and not joking at all. Meanwhile, they have the picture of Joe Biden in front of a flag, but the red is behind him. And he said, like, hey, there's a very unforgivable part of this country that, like, tried to overturn the fucking election. And they're like, oh, he's the most divisive president in history. BLM riots.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait a minute. This is going to trigger the fuck. I mean, it triggered the fuck out of me. All right. Kimmel returned. This is Piers Morgan's take. So Kimmel wasn't canceled by Trump or the FCC after all, but temporarily suspended by his employer because they thought what he said was ill-timed. And assholes, they didn't admit that the FCC was the reason why. So clearly the FCC wasn't the reason why. Eat shit, libtards.
Yep. This is a total internal discussion and problem that they dealt with at ABC. It had nothing to do with anything else.
I can't.
I just
he is
it's
so fucking
the-
wild.
I've heard
The
some
Jesse
things
Waters
behind the scenes.
thing-
He's a full-on super left-wing progressive person, which makes it so much fucking worse. And he's like plays this moderate for fucking clicks. That pisses me off so much more.
Sorry. All right, go ahead.
the Jesse Waters thing, they just keep excusing this ridiculous behavior by Trump. It's not okay for the president of the United States to hate his fellow Americans. He's supposed to be everybody's president. It's like he's this guy who takes his dick out at meetings once in a while, and it's like, well, he just puts his dick on the table once in a while. What do you want to say?
Well, hey, Lyndon B. Johnson was a good president, IRA. It's not just like diss him, all right?
Are you expecting, Piers? Are you pregnant?
I mean, the president's obviously got a lot of really important roles that he's got to fill. He's got to, domestic and foreign policy. He's got to staff the agencies. He's got to enforce federal law. But like a profoundly important part of being president is to be the uniter in chief when stuff like this happens.
It's not acceptable to hate any of your fellow Americans as president. Period.
So for Jesse Waters to dismiss it like, well, he's just being himself. It's like, bro, that alone right there just gives you a glimpse into his psychology, and you can tell just so easily that he's just not built for that kind of leadership. He's just not. He has no concept of putting his own petty squabbles aside.
Why are you pretending not to understand? I'm sorry. He gets to me. He gets to me in ways that he is my Rob Noor. He gets to me like nobody does.
Would this be a bad time to bring up the fact that Jesse Waters let the air out of the tires of his intern so that he could force her to get a ride home with him and so that he could date her after divorcing his wife? I don't know if that's...
And he's made jokes about it, too.
Riz.
On air. He's made jokes. Yeah. God.
These people are like fucking, I don't even know what to say. They're like... They're
ghouls.
Psychos, man. They're psychos. Yeah. They're ghouls. They're warlocks. They're something. I don't know.
I don't know what the term is. Did any of you ever watch 30 Rock?
No. Yes.
I don't.
Yes. I have.
I didn't watch a lot of it. Great show though.
It is. Yeah. It's a really good show, and I'm blanking on the guy's name. He was in Arrested Development, and he was like the Job. Who's Job's actor?
Will Arnett.
Will Arnett. Thank you. So Will Arnett plays Alec Baldwin's nemesis in 30 Rock. He's like a recurring character, and he's a closeted homosexual. And so he's flirting with the page in 30 Rock, whose name escapes me, but he calls him, he goes, you
Kenneth?
Warlock. Kenneth. He's you Warlock. So I think when you said Warlock, it's what it reminded me of. Anyway. Yeah.
Also, that's not even the worst thing a Fox News host has said this week, because Kilmeade said we should forcefully inject homeless people and kill them. Like,
one of these things I kept seeing was they called him, instead of Brian Kilmeade, it was Brian Kill the Homeless. Did you like this?
That was an insane comment by him.
Yes.
And what did he say? Did he say like, "Oh, I didn't mean it," or like he said like the weakest walkback ever?
It was
no
the weakest walkback.
for that.
Obviously, I don't think people should be killed. I'm like, it's not obvious to me because you said, involuntary lethal injections, kill them. That's like almost a verbatim quote what I just said.
Yeah, Brian.
It's a little hyperbole,
God. Well, folks, as we wrap up here, I'm curious, who has what in the future? What's going on? What are projects going on? Let's do IRI. IRI, what's going on?
Well,
buddy?
Decorating my wall and buying furniture is in my future, but I moved because my internet was really bad, and it's got a couple hiccups here, but I think it's okay. So now I'm going to line up some stuff, but as of right now, I don't have anything too exciting except continuing my TikTok debates in the morning. They're a lot of fun.
How are those going? Have you made any other women cry?
No, I did tell an old man who had a stroke, 70-year-old man, to get off his lazy ass and get to work because he's on Medicaid. But I was doing it just to make an example out of him because he was claiming all people on Medicaid are lazy. And I said, no, they're like you.
All right. All right. Ruthless. I love it. What about you, Soy Pill? What's in the future for you?
Fixing my virtual cam, obviously. Just like IRI's got to get with the setup. In an hour at 6:15 PST, I've been coerced into a debate. Is socialism, communism, and progressivism inherently violent? And it's with the other opposing side is a libertarian, which I'm sure we're going to be talking about the non-aggression period. So if you want to watch me suffer, I'm not looking forward to this. But
who is the libertarian?
Who's the
lib? Fabian Liberty. I don't know. Yeah, it's
Fabian Liberty.
No.
It's
Is this a
gonna
wig
be,
panel?
huh?
Is this a wig panel?
No, this is the Raging Tomato, which is like if you thought wig panels were like the low IQ Russell
She will straight
Rumble.
up show gay porn to quiet people down. She will.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
Have,
it is
have you
like
seen that?
people who can't follow like a logical argument from A to B and gay porn spliced between it. So if you really just want to watch like the Kardashians of internet politics, I'm doing that. But tomorrow morning, if you guys know Brian Shapiro is pushing the limit, I heard Alex Jones is calling in early in the morning. So we'll see. We'll see if I am listening to Alex Jones calling in.
All right, Hutch. What about you, buddy?
Just the regular streams. Start at 8:30 a.m., 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, and we're gonna do it tomorrow through Friday, and then on Sunday.
Nice.
Good shit.
Pisco, what about you, buddy?
The Instagram and TikTok are growing, and I'm trying to follow in IRI's footsteps, and so I'm begging you, beseeching you, demanding of you, if you have it in your hearts at this moment, a call to action at Pisco Liddy on TikTok and Instagram. Get me to that threshold. Get me over the top. I did get the live permissions early. I don't know, like I didn't do anything.
I did Pisco,
yeah.
And then they took them away, so I don't know what's going on.
Oh shit! So get me to that threshold.
Well,
you got to follow me on Insta and you got to follow me on TikTok. Sorry.
Remember, you probably have to stream a couple times before you can bring guests on and stuff. So you're gonna have to do a couple tests. Don't hype up like my first stream and we're gonna debate, because you may not be able to do jack shit for a couple streams.
We can just have you and me, Pisco. We'll farm each other's streams. Just go on, talk to each other with no audience.
I liked a few of your things. I think I liked a few.
I know. I saw. I get notifications.
We made his propeller spin.
You woke me up. It was 3 a.m, and I got a little Pisco notification.
Hutch,
Back
are you on
sleep,
TikTok?
warm in my heart.
Negative.
Oh shit! We gotta get the Hutcher.
Let me ask Josiah, what do you have coming up, buddy?
Well, I interviewed Kyle Kalinske today for a follow-up.
Wow.
I'm going to post that tomorrow.
Communist.
Exactly.
How did that go?
It went extremely
Shouting?
well.
Screaming?
No, there was mutual shouting. It was very cathartic for both of us. But like we were shouting at Trump. We were shouting and laughing at Trump. So it was a good interview.
Did you show him the tweet of him where he said N-words is hungry? Can you I really need him to just address that tweet. He hasn't in years.
I asked him if he was hungry. No, he ate dinner.
Did you use the N-word?
No, I did not.
Okay.
So I interviewed him today. That one went a little longer than expected, so that'll go live tomorrow. And then Wednesday, I am being interviewed by Jessica Tarlov for Raging
your
Moderates.
dreams.
Yes.
Your dream.
Personal hero of mine. Very excited for that.
I just want to say I was there when Josiah met Jessica Tarlov in person at the DNC, and she said, "I know you."
Crazy.
She was fangirling on Josiah.
Holy shit.
And I was fangirling too. I think she has the toughest job in media. I don't know how the fuck because after Charlie Kirk was shot, like I couldn't even watch some of the immediate episode because of the way like Gutfeld and some of the others, like they were unhinged to her, like cursing and like shouting and like unhinged shit. I don't know how she does it. But so that interview is going to happen on Wednesday.
Cool.
And then, I don't know. Today was
There's
kind of
more?
like say what?
There's more?
There's more.
You're
what?
loaded up, man.
Oh, no. I other than that, it's just like the usual shit, Monday through Friday, and then videos on Sunday as well. And that's me. So
how did the Prop 50 thing go with you and Luke?
I'll be honest with you, I was a little disappointed, but it's because we had to reschedule and that they didn't advertise it for the follow-up date the way they did for the first one. So there was like a huge messaging blitz, but unfortunately it was the day it was supposed to be the night that Kirk ended up getting assassinated. So obviously they rescheduled and they rebranded. It was no longer fuck around, find out. It was say yes to 50. Yeah.
How much more attention would you have gotten on it if you hadn't changed the date?
Yeah.
I think you should have. Pisco, I think would be with me. You
story.
shouldn't have changed the date, right? That's Democrats fighting back.
Which state? Sorry, I was distracted.
So the big live stream.
Oh yes. Oh, we were looking at that. We're like, do you think they're gonna stream this? And you guys moved it?
No, they did. So like after it happened, I texted Brian and I'm like, so I I don't think this is going to happen, is it? And he's like, man, everything's insane. We're trying to figure that out now. And then, yeah, they predictably made the decision to reschedule. But as a
Are we
consequence,
canvassing IRL? Are we all fighting for 50? Is that happening?
I mean, I don't know after the I don't know.
You don't want to be killed?
We'll have to talk. We'll have to talk about that.
I have Alex Jones Infowars neck Kevlar. We're good, okay? So
it's on, dude. Don't even worry.
So wait, what is the situation on this? Can we talk? Has that had an impact at all on Prop 50's polling or like enthusiasm around it?
No.
Nah.
Okay. You're still confident it's going to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
California's libbed up, dude. They don't give a shit.
It's like 20 to 25. It's like 20 to 25 points, in the green the last time I saw the polling.
And so is Mom Donnie. Mom Donnie's up 20. Just saying.
He's crushing it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, appreciate everybody watching. I think the Soy Pill, when he hosted, there was like an outro of some kind. So I'm going to attempt to do that here. We really appreciate all of our viewers. Be sure to like and subscribe to everybody's channels if you haven't yet, especially Pisco on TikTok, because of course, he supported Trump breaking the law and keeping the TikTok ban unenforced so he could grow his content. It was actually really gross and cynical. We need to reward it, especially because the algorithm, like if you don't get him there now, he's not going to have that many months before Fox News takes over the algorithm and just pumps right-wing propaganda.
Demonetizes.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we'll be back next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern